Hi everyone, my name is Mandar Gogle. I'm a part of a UXI product team. And in this video, we are going to look at user experience insight training, which is digital experience monitoring tool for HPE Aruba networking. So before we begin, let's jump with our agenda items, right? So we have customer challenges and what value that UXI brings to the table. We will see how the UXI works, and then we will demo you with the new features up till February 2025. And then we'll cover some frequently asked questions and what to do in those type of situations. So yeah, let's begin with the key challenges in the IT environment. So what we saw so far is typical IT solutions that we have, right? It could be, the mobility services or providing the NMS services like that. It's not quite end to end. So many issues which are not related to the user experience are actually getting categorized as part of the network problems, are part of the, you can say, device problems, and there is no clear uh, gap. We are seeing that there are no relevance between the two, right? So that's why some issues are really hard to troubleshoot and they get undetected sometimes if they are transient. Some issues are difficult to reproduce if we are seeing any Wi-Fi associations and we don't have clients at that particular time when we are troubleshooting, then it's really difficult to troubleshoot those issues. And there are existing tools which can give you the network side of the troubleshooting, but there is no user experience side of the troubleshooting, and it will not cover the end user challenges, right? So when the Wi-Fi is broken, what we will do is we will just don't know where to start from, and we will just get into that loophole where we can do maybe a network troubleshooting and user troubleshooting, and we don't end up with anything as a solution. So what we offer as user experience insight is we will give you the user's perspective. So we have hardware sensors and the agents, which can cover the user side of things. We can test the centric test. We can test services, applications, URLs. We also have web application test where we can check the click response times. And we have end-to-end visibility with path analysis as well. And then we can also give you the visibility into large and distributed networks, whether you have enterprise networks like Wi-Fi 6E, or if you have coffee shop networks, and if you are accessing it through your software agents, which can run from your end user workstation devices like Windows and Mac OS. So we will give you that visibility as well. So as I said before, we have two categories of the solutions. We have our product category and we have the cloud-based UI category. And in the product category, we have two solutions. We have sensors, which are hardware dedicated uh, uh, cylindrical shape, which can used as a dedicated tester. You can install it in your any office locations. It can test up to 4 networks. It can have wired and wireless connections as well. We have current model, which is Wi-Fi 6E with WPA3, and we have cellular and non-cellular models. And this is one of our differentiator as well, where we have cellular backhaul, which is out of band, and it has a super capacitor with the power backup, so it can send you the last gasp messages when there is a power outage. We also have UXI agents for workstations and mobile devices. And mobile, we cover Android and Zebra OS. We also have Windows and Mac OS workstation agents. It will run it as passive testers. It can install it in your laptops or end user devices that you have, and or remote workforce. And it will give you a basic synthetic transaction monitoring, as well as it will, with the Zebra, you will get advanced roaming voice analysis and the packet capture as well. And we are vendor agnostic. So even if you don't have HPE Aruba networking infrastructure, even if you have non-Aruba, you can still use our solution and you can get the analysis out of it. So all the analytics capturing from the sensors and the agents are fed into the cloud-based UI. So we have our dashboard where we can collect those analytics and we'll present you in the user consumable fashion. We can give you issues, alerts. You can drill down per groups, per networks, per sensors as well. And it will give you beautiful visualization, and it is simple to understand interface. This is what we offer today. What it will bring, in a sense, right, with the UXI to the customer is A, with the 24 by 7 hardware sensors, you don't have to be on site always to troubleshoot something if the issue happens. It will give you like a proactive monitoring where, let's say, if you deploy any new SSID or any new clear pass authentication or something like that, and if you don't want your users to get the first uh, heat of it, it will act as a first line of defense. You can test any QA sites or any networks that you newly deploy, or you can verify your management cycles as well, or maintenance, that you don't want your users to get impact on Monday morning. You can have those tests using your sensors. And we have software agents which can run on Android, Zebra, and Windows macOS. So all these things will collectively give you the reduction in the site visits. We have a beautiful AVA tool, which is developed by our sales team, and you can have your uh, all the calculations that you can, put in, like how many sites that you're targeting, or how many sensors you want to deploy, and how much MTTI or MTTR values that you will get in terms of cost reductions. Then it will also give you the reductions in the system upgrade testing. So let's say if you have any downtime or anything like that because some APs are upgrading to the latest firmware or something like that, and if you want to see if your SSIDs are still working fine, or if your network is end-to-end working fine with the application accessible to all your users after the upgrade, you can actually test it with the agents and sensors. And third, it will give you the business disruption reduction. So if you have like a power outage, or if you have any bigger outage because of any kind of underlying issues, sensors would be the first one to detect it, because they are like continuously testing your websites, your network, and it will automatically pick it up, the underlying issues, whether it's happened because of the DNS or DSCP, or maybe a bad gateway, or if it's like a routing to a different direction. So path analysis will give you that end-to-end visibility, which will help you reduce those business disruptions. And with UXI, we have different landscape of customers. So we have K-12 university customers, which use this as a tool where you can test the educational apps before students log in into the apps to access their curriculums, or maybe remote sessions with their teachers. We have telco, MSP, and big retail customer. This is our, one of the biggest customer that we have for UXI in retail in US, where they use it as a trend line, where they want to see how the DHCP response time over the last 30 days, or how the gateway response time, or how is my DNS lookup time is. Whereas enterprises are using to reduce their mean time to innocence or mean time to resolution to avoid business disruptions. We have technology, healthcare, venue, and financial and hospitality as well. I don't want to go through it, but please reach out to your, local sales rep or the account team if you want to learn more about UXI business cases, and if you're interested in POCing one of the solutions. So let's see how the UXI works in the action, right? So as a sensor, when it connects to a network, it goes through a test cycle process. So as I said, a sensor can test up to 4 networks. So I have this breakdown just for simplicity. I have 4 SSIDs, and sensor will connect to that one SSID, for example, in a first test cycle, and it will run a certain core test. So core test include, it will test your DHCP response time, DNS, gateway. If you have IPv6, we will also test V6 response time, or Slack. We also do captive portal. If you have like a click-through splash page or something like that, then we will basically goes through the core test, and then it will start testing your internal application test, where it will basically test all of your websites that you have. It could be your internal websites, like internal web servers or data centers, apps, or something like that. And then it finally tests the external one. Once it start or stop testing the last test in the external one, then it will jump into the second SSID or the second network. It can test wired or Ethernet as well. and then it follows the same procedure for the second, third, and fourth. Once it's done testing the fourth network and the testing on that fourth network, then it will repeat. It will comes back to the first one. So that's how our sensor, normally works in the current environment where you deploy. And then once the test is successful, if let's say I am testing my warehouse application from the sensor, and if there is like some high channel utilization where I'm seeing one of my SSID is giving me, let's say 33.4 channel utilization, it will raise high channel utilization as the issue threshold. And you can see it here. You can also see the frame rate, try rate, and underlying the SSID, the RSSI, and the receive bit rate. The other type of failure is the issue triage, where we say that, hey, this test that we are running, for example, certain website is down and we could not reach it. And this is where, the main core essence of our UXI lies, or I would say the main differentiator that nobody else provides in the competition world, where it will start the recording when the test fails and it will reattempt to basically test that website again. So basically, it will give you like a false positive. It will not give you anything like that. And then while testing that website again, it will start capturing all the layers, layer 1 to layer 7 parameters. Like it will start testing your Wi-Fi is okay, DHCP, gateway, DNS. It will ping that website. It will also have the clicks where you can actually record a lot of click-throughs through that website and see the see the response time through that clicks. And then it will give you all the nitty-gritty details in the root cause analysis engine here that you see. And you can also see that we not only perform this test on Wi-Fi, but we also perform it on Ethernet. So let's say if you have any issue going on and if it is actually impacting both the interfaces, you can see here. And if it's not, that's well and good. You can just pass it on to your wireless team and they will take care of that, right? You can also download a packet capture for your technical support team where they can actually drill down into more nitty-gritty details. And you can export this as a text file as well, and you can send it to your NOC team. All right, so with thresholds and issues, we raise one issue at a time or one threshold violation at a time. But for bigger enterprises, we have something called as AIOps incident detection, where we can actually categorize and combine the issues which are of the same flavor. So we categorize the issues which are maybe like similar type of website. Let's say Facebook is down for all of my 4 locations at the exact same time due to my DNS is going uh, down, or my primary and secondary DNS is having certain issues, right? And it will categorize it and it will send it into our models, which are our ML models, and it will form, instead of sending you 1 or 1,000 alerts for that one website being down on multiple locations, it will send you one single AIOps incident detection alert so that you as an end user can consume it like, hey, of course, there are 1,000 issues, but this is just one website being down from multiple locations. And I don't have to, uh, dedicate one resource to maybe combine all the issues together and see what's going wrong. We can actually give you a drill down of it and it will give you a basic visualization. For this feature to get enabled, we will need 20 or more sensors in your dashboard just for our AI/ML algorithm to work correctly on our side. And it will get sent across. It will create a incident on our dashboard, and the models are recalculated weekly, and we have like a per customer model. All right, so before I jump into the new features demo, let me actually take you to the dashboard. So we have this UXI dashboard where you can see we have all of my sensors in the experience column, and I can create a hierarchy-based configurations. So I have my agents separately, and my sensors are located in APJ, EMEA, and I have V6 and North America sensors. Then all of my services, which are my core network test, are here. And I can see that Wi-Fi is okay, Ethernet, DSCP, gateway, and all. And then my internal and external applications are bucketed like this. So if I want to open one test and want to show you like how it performs the test, right? So it will perform basic HTTP and ICMP ping for Facebook.com. and it is calculating the rolling averages of RTT latency values, what's the packet loss, jitter, and all that. But if I want to just expand this and I want to see what's the latency for one of my location sensor, and at one particular point I can easily hover over it, and I can see that at 7 a.m. on Thursday, February 20th, it was 212. Whereas for my other sensor, it was like, higher and lower values in the same category. I can also go down to like last 30 days of data, or I can search for a specific one. I can filter for a network. So for example, if Facebook is having certain kind of issues on one of my wireless, but not on wired, I can easily filter. Also, if I just focus on EMEA or APJ sensors, or maybe I'm dedicated troubleshooter for North America, I can easily, filter for my groups as well. All right. So there is another one which I would like to show you. If you press S from that main page on the keyboard, you will directly come here in the settings, and then you will have the groups, right? So you can create the groups, you can assign a sensors to that groups. And then, for example, if you have a sensor maybe located and not named properly like this here, I have named it as a proper thing like floor 5, but let's say I want to see where the sensor is located. I can easily see the map view and get the location of that sensor. So I can see that this sensor is in Cape Town, and it's G6E. So I can easily put a note here as well that, hey, this is a Cape Town sensor as well. And then if I go to the particular sensor in a sensor status page, it will give me that, okay, this sensor is testing my Cape SSID as well as Ethernet, and then all the status on the left where I can see the issues raised by that sensor, and then a particular Wi-Fi testing, then network testing where I can see DSCP, DNS, then the internal external apps. We also have Wi-Fi 6E testing going on here. You can see that split like 2.4 gigahertz, 5 and 6. And if I expand it, you will get like multiple details for that particular SSID or the nearby access points, like signal strength, band, channel width, channel number, available admission capacity, BSS color, and all that. And you can easily filter for it and search for a specific SSID, just in case if I want to see how it looks like for Cape SSID. This is how the breakdown is for the nearby access points. All right. So this is what we have today, right? So let me cover the main, new features demo first, right? So let's look at one by one. So the main feature that we have launched last year, actually, during our conference event, which is HPE Discover, is path analysis. So what path analysis basically give you is it will give you the end-to-end visibility from the sensor. So just like our previous sensor testing, it is doing 24/7 transactions for your paths. It will give you all the primary, secondary paths. It will also give you alternate paths as well, and it will test ICMP as well as TCP paths. It will also do UDP for your LibreSpeed and iPerf 3 testing. We also have something called as node enrichment, where you can see all these nodes in your path analysis view, and then you can see the blind spots in your network. You can actually see the real time as well as historical paths as well. And it will give you a beautiful visualization on the dashboard that I'm going to show you in a few minutes. So what's new right now for path analysis is we have added the autonomous system number, we have added host name, then the location where you will see the city, state, and country. You can also see the cloud provider if that particular path is traversing over AWS or GCP. And we can also show you the IPv6 paths for IPv6 networks. So let me actually show you that, right? So if I go to my Facebook example again, right? I have this facebook.com where I can see there was a latency spike here around like 210 or 215 where I'm getting like 300, and for this particular one, I'm getting like 200 and something, but for one particular time, I'm getting, let's say 300 milliseconds latency, and I want to see why, right? For my Facebook sensor. So I can easily go to path analysis view, and I can see that this is the same sensor, which is located in the San Francisco. And for Facebook, I'm getting uh, 388 milliseconds of latency, and it's because that if I hover over it, it's actually resolving. So basically, my sensor is in San Francisco, which is in US, and my website is actually uh, resolving to the Singapore Facebook server. So that's why it is contributing to that, higher latency. We also added like a DSCP values as well, where you can actually see the class of service and the QoS values. And then again, we have location for each node wherever we can get it. And then we have RTT values for under each nodes as well. You can also filter based on the timelines. So I have already pre-filtered for you just for a demo purpose, but we have few filters where you can filter for specific group, specific sensor, specific destination, or if you want to see the historical paths as well, you can see it. You can sort it according to the RTT values and network-based, protocol-based sorting. So yeah, this is all about path analysis. You can also click on this view and see the path metrics on your right, and it will give you all the uh, summarized view for that particular path. All right. So then coming back to our next feature, which is a group-based configuration, right? So previously we had a hierarchy where uh, we can assign certain sensors to the group by drag and drop, but we really worked on it and we have improved our group-based configuration, not only to simplify, you can say creation of groups or create configuring that sensors to that specific groups, or you can say agents to put into that specific groups, but we also improved a lot of things, like you can also make configuration changes now to the sensors and the networks, and you can assign or you can manage that network. You can add the network setting, and now you can able to assign that network not to a specific sensor one by one, because previously that was like a really tedious task where you want to actually click on edit on each particular sensor and get into it and then assign okay, how many networks I want to test from that sensor. But now with this group-based configuration, you can actually assign that network to multiple groups or a parent group, or basically any aspect of that group. I can actually go down to the only the child group and not the entire parent group as well. Similarly, we have made configuration changes for our test or services column as well, where you can actually assign, because earlier that page was very confusing where you have to create like alias groups, and then which we used to call it as legacy groups, and then you have to assign that group to a sensor and then click like drop down that, and then you can check box that and then toggle on and toggle off that service. But you don't have to do that now. We made it really, really simple. So similar to the network configuration model, you can now assign your services or now assign your test directly to the groups or any aspect of the group. And I'm going to show you right now. So if I go back to my dashboard, so I have this dashboard here where I can go to the settings again, and now I can see that I have my groups here, which I have created like APJ and all that. But now I can actually create one parent group, one child group right now. So let's say I have the Singapore, but now I want to see one more group here, says floor 2. Okay. And if I save it, and I want to assign the sensor in that floor 2 group, right? So if I just pick this, and I can basically have this. So before I actually go into assign mode, let me actually show you that now we have made changes here at the top where you can actually have two columns, manage and assign. So in the manage one, you can actually do the edit for that particular sensor, where you can checkbox PCAP light or PCAP full for that sensor, or you can see the info panel, you can see the status of that sensor, right? But if I want to assign this particular sensor to that newly created group, I'll go to the assign. Then I find that sensor. So in this case, this was my sensor. So I can easily select that sensor or multiple sensors, or I can search for those sensors. And then I can just search for floor 2, right? So let me actually go to my Singapore location, which is in APJ, and here you go. So I can now drag this particular sensor to floor 2, and then it will say that okay, the drag is completed, even though if it's my sensor was offline, but that's okay. So I can easily assign that, right? So I can also export this particular Excel sheet as an inventory option as well, and I can have this button where it will give me quick guidance, like how I can do manage sensors or assign sensors, and you can see how the switch mode, if you need any assistance. All right, so this is about sensors. So you can also filter for that sensor list. So let's say if I go back to my manage and if I want to see what are my sensors which are not assigned. So I can click on this not assigned or unassigned sensor, and then it will show me that list. Or I can see the filter based on the model numbers or the active or disable mode for cellular capabilities, like if you have non-cellular or cellular sensors. All right. So same thing goes for agents. So for agents also, same thing. Like if you go to edit, it will ask you to edit to that particular sensor. Or sorry, agent. We have a bunch of agents here, like MacBook Pro as well as one of Zebra and Android-based sensors. Sorry, agents. And then we have to assign that, right? So if you want to assign this, same thing goes, and same filter options you have. Like in this case, we just have mobile and workstation agents category. All right, so after configuring your sensors or assigning that sensors to the group, the next step is to assign or create a network and then assign it to a group, right? So first I'll create a network. So in this case, I have already created my network. We do support WPA2, WPA3 with 2.45 gigahertz, 6 gigahertz band law. You can also do an alias. So for example, in this case, this is my IPv6 wireless network, even though it's SJF office. So I can create my own alias name to that, and I can start testing just V6 network. So I will select V6 and I will compare how the V4 versus V6 performance looks like, right? The same thing goes for export button. You can also export it. We have filter as well, where you can filter for specific IP stack, whether you want to see what are the unassigned networks and all that, or a specific category of WPA security for wireless. You can also now assign that network to a parent group directly, or if I don't want to basically assign it to the entire, you can say, group of like uh, entire parent group, I can also select a specific child group inside it, and all of my networks will get assigned to that with just one click, right? You can also search for a specific group. So, for example, if I want to see something on floor 2, I will select floor 2. And then all of my networks will get assigned to that floor 2. Of course, the sensor will test so only 4. So make sure you select 4 here and then assign it. Uh, but we have added like a new option here, which is apply. So it will give you like a second level of check. So unless you hit apply, it will not apply your configuration that you have just selected, right? So make sure you hit apply after making a proper selection. Um, all right, so then same thing goes for wired as well. You can select the same category and same assignments works in wired. Uh, yeah, same thing here. So once you do that, it will give you all the options as well. All right, and then for services, we have made a new button in the edit section where if I want to exclude this particular test, I know that it's currently running on, let's say, one group of sensors, and that one group is having maybe 4 SSIDs, but I don't want to run one password.com on all four, right? I just want to run it on one particular SSID. So I can easily exclude my networks out of those, right? out of this group, even though that group has all four networks assigned to it. So this is a really good option for many enterprises that were, they were asking for. And similar to the um, group assignment in the networks one, we have the group assignment here as well. So you select a group, sorry, you select a uh, a service first, and then I will select my networks. And then if I have all my toggle on here for all of my network, it will start testing everything. But if I have a toggle off, I can also have an option to here to select a checkbox to which networks that test should get on, right? So that all of my laptop agents, I know that laptop agents is not going to do voice analysis. So I will maybe select something which have Zebra devices on, right? Even though it says laptop, or for some reason, I'm just making up the example. I know this is a bad example, but let's say if I have a Zebra, right, and Zebra is only going to perform voice, and Zebra is attached to, let's say, UXI PSK and not on all, so I can just deselect everything. I don't want to run it on all. I just want to run it on UXI PSK. So I just select that, and I will deselect everything else in my category. And then after, of course, I have to hit apply. And same help button is here as well, so you can easily get the more details for that. All right, so this is all about group-based hierarchy configuration model that we have. Now let me go to the next one. So this is a really interesting, and we have recently announced the general availability of Mac OS and Windows OS agents. So you can now install Mac OS and Windows OS UXI agent, which we call it as DEM agents, digital experience monitoring agents, on your workstations. We will have everything that sensor is doing. I can show you right now as well. We have a beautiful video as well, which we already put it in YouTube. But let me actually quickly show you how it looks like on our dashboard. So let me go to laptop agents, and let me pick one of the agent here. I think this is my laptop currently running on Fluffy Wolves. Uh, and then it will show you the exact same pattern chart for your sensor if you're familiar with our sensor status page, where you can see the Wi-Fi SSID details, RSSI values, and all that. You can also go back to last 30 days just to see more information. Um, and then DNS lookup time. The quick difference is you will not get DSCP response time because, of course, it's an agent and we don't want to disassociate you from that particular SSID, right? To get you that DSCP, the internal and external. But what's new here is our device information. So I can now see the serial number, manufacturer details, the OS type, the OS version, the CPU details, and the Wi-Fi driver details. And why it's necessary for us to give you this particular information is like sometimes we are observing that there are certain category of firmware versions or the OS drivers having issues with certain maybe network associations, be it your wireless or wired networks, right? Be it certain type of wireless network, let's say WPA2 PSK versus WPA3, or WPA3 Enterprise versus WPA3 Personal, right? So that's why this is essential information that we have added. You can now see the device utilization like CPU, memory, then device temperature, and how it's spiking over a period of time. So let's say if user is complaining to that, hey, IT guys, I had an issue on 2200 hours at January 31st, and I was not able to load any certain application. I can easily see that my CPU was spiking at 61 or 89% around that time. You can also see the Wi-Fi environment for 2.45, also 6 gigahertz if you have 6 gigahertz for your agents running on 6 gigahertz as well. We have added the similar type of issue triage. And you can see that we have step-by-step analysis where you can see how the agent is performing, Wi-Fi association, DHCP lease, DNS, and ICMP ping. In the future versions of our OS uh, agents, you will see the packet capture as well available here. So yeah, I think that's all for Windows and Mac OS agents. Perfect. So let me go to the next one where we have recently have all of our UXI dashboard migrated to GreenLake cloud platform for new customers. So now new customers can easily access our dashboard from universal one-stop shop from HP, which is GreenLake cloud platform. I know that if some of you guys are already central users, you should be aware about GreenLake cloud platform. So if you have GreenLake cloud platform, like I can maybe show you some like really quick here. And if you have a workspace called as maybe UXI Cape Town in the services, now you can search for user experience insight. So once you create a workspace and once you create your service as user experience insight, you can automatically get the device subscriptions or the eval subscriptions for like 10 sensors, 10 agent subscriptions you will get. And you can see it in the device inventory as well as in the service subscriptions. You can see service subscription in the services subscription column, but you can see that I have this 10 foundational sensor LTE cloud, and then I have certain things. I think in the service subscription, I can see uh, agent subscription as well, like this one. I have 90-day eval licenses for Zebra, as well as the UXI agent. So you can easily try it on, and you can create your own dashboard without any, by contacting any uh, support or anything like that. We have beautiful help article where you can actually go step by step and create your onboard your devices in the GLP, and then you can uh, onboard it to the UXI dashboard automatically. Uh, for current or existing customers, we do have plans to migrate them in the second half of mostly this year. But it is important to note that they all the each UXI dashboard can only be linked to one GreenLake cloud platform workspace. So you can't have multiple UXI dashboards in a single workspace account. And if you already have UXI dashboard, you can create a new dashboard as well if you want to, try it out, the new approach. But the only reason I will not encourage you if you already have one is because you cannot combine the non-GLP and the GLP account in the future. So make sure you can, if you want to create it, just create it as a lab account and something like that. And if you want to get help with the subscriptions or anything like that, please reach out to your local Aruba account team or your sales rep in your region. All right, so we have a few FAQs as well listed here for our subscriptions for GreenLake Cloud Platform. You can always reach out to us via email or your account managers as well. All right, so the next thing I want to show you is our new integration with UXI and New Central. Of course, two are different products here, but if you have a New Central or a Central from, if you have APIs, gateways, and switches, and if you're managing it through Central, we are having UXI and Central integration with the New Central, which is currently in the public preview. You must have already get a feel of it, right, already. So what it looks like is like if you go to the application planet in that new central, you will get to see the UXI measurements there. So let me actually show you for one of my account here, which I have. So give me just a moment. Let me go to home and let me go to that account. Okay, perfect. So if I go to the central account and if I toggle on that new central, now with uh, you can say with the new uh, UX with the new UX which we have for New Central is if I go to the Sunnyvale Office account, just to give you an example how it looks like, and if I click on applications, I can now see the experience for that application, right? So if I just want to open how the experience looks like for the facebook.com, now I will get this three tabs, the client details tab, which is actually getting it from the AP's telemetry, or you can say the app express, if you're familiar with our SaaS express that we had for our classic central. We also get application performance. So you can get the throughput transmitted and received, and now you can also get the UXI telemetry embedded into the new central. So you will get the similar type of charts, like how the Facebook is behaving for latency, packet loss, jitter, and white mouse for that Sunnyvale sensors. It's a similar, type of you can say charts. And if you already are UXI customer, you must be already aware about those charts, right? So if I go to Facebook, for example, here, the similar charts that you see here is actually embedded on the News Central itself. All right. So if you want to learn more about or get into this New Central and UXI integration, please reach out to your account rep, and we will have allow list in the future and select availability coming up in a couple of months and general availability coming up. So please reach out to your account rep or your SC in your region to get this enabled on your accounts in next couple of months. All right, so the next and the final feature that I want to touch base is about onboarding API, because so far the configuration that I showed you was based on the dashboard, right? And even though we made it simpler based on hierarchy and all other things, it's still difficult if you are building your own you can say enterprise network using sensors. If you want to onboard 1,000 sensors, or if you want to assign it to, let's say, a network, or if you want to create multiple groups, right? So we have this onboarding API. There are two prerequisites for it. Your UXI dashboard account should be on GLP. And the second one is the new hierarchy that we have showed you, right? It should be enabled on that. So once you have this two prerequisites done, then you need to create an API token, and then you can do uh, you can create hierarchical groups. You can set sensors with the name, nodes, like MAC address and the mailing address and the PCAP mode. Then you can assign that sensor to a specific hierarchy group assignment. You can assign the network to the specific group assignment, and you can assign a test to a specific group assignment. So you can have all those things created, by using our onboarding APIs. What is not included, this is like really essential, is like you cannot create new networks, or you cannot delete any new networks or any network, or you cannot create like you cannot delete any tests which are there, right? So those are like excluded from the onboarding APIs. So for onboarding APIs, what basically we will do is, like, if I go back to my workspace, I will go to manage workspace in order to create token. So if I want to create a token, I will go to personal API clients, and I will create my token here. First, I will create, of course, a new API client, right? You can do like a test client, and you can search UXI already, which is listed here. Once you do that, you can get all the like client ID and all the other things. I already have this, so I just want to show you. And we have a beautiful help article in the developer hub where you can actually get through all the APIs that we have, like network group assignment and all that. Or if you have a Postman, like a lot of many people will have it, you can put this token here, and then you can make a call, and I can get like type like all of my services which are currently running in my network. Or I can get a list of all my sensors, right, which are currently running on my network. Um, or I can create a new group, or I can or I can assign that network to a group, or I can assign a sensor to that group, right? So all this things you can do it, or agents as well. Of course, you can assign agents to that particular group. So all these things you can achieve it using the onboarding API. We are also building Terraform as well, Terraform provider for onboarding APIs, and once it's available, we will definitely announce it. You will see all of the announcements in the What's New page. So if I go back to my UXI dashboard, whatever I just showed you and explain you in the uh, slides, it's already there here in the What's New page. You can easily see it here. Oops, I don't know why it's happening like this. But anyways, you can see it in the what's new. Like we have this agents, then we have onboarding API, we have help article and everything. We have January's uh, hierarchy-based or group-based configuration, GLP, and path analysis for IPv6. All right, so I think with that, this was my last slide. So if something is not okay, we have the beautiful help articles on help.capernetworks.com. You can ask questions in the UXI chat box, which is right in the or embedded in the dashboard itself here at the bottom of right corner, where you can easily message our support team, or you can email our support team. You can check our status page as well if something is, kind of bug or something like that. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it from our side. Thank you so much for listening me and enjoy your day.